I'm sure you've by now heard the term boomers, right?
Right.
Well, what about boomerang children?
Yeah, it's an interesting term, really. It is. Boomerang children are young adults who move back in with their parents after living on their own.
Now, that can happen for a number of different reasons, one of them being financial reasons.
Yeah, and Al Riddick, the president of Game Time Budgeting, is here with us to discuss more on this topic. Good morning, Al.
Good morning.
Boomerang children. What are some of the causes of having a boomerang child?
There are actually quite a few causes. So you could have a child that's in a low-paying job. Maybe they have high debt, low savings. Maybe they're unemployed. Or unfortunately, sometimes your child is ending a marriage, and sometimes that forces them to return home as well.
Yeah.
And today, in today's society, there was a recent study by the Pew Research Center which stated that about 52% of young adults between ages 19 and 29 are actually living with one or both parents these days.
In that basement, right?
We hope, right?
Right. Well, I mean, like you said, life happens, right?
Yeah.
Different circumstances. But what are some of the potential benefits to having a child that moves back in with you?
Well, first of all, of course, the biggest benefit is for the child, right? You do get somewhat a level of financial security, being that you're back under your parents' roof, right? But let's talk about for the parents as an example. So first of all, as a parent, you get to observe your child's adulting behaviors. Because think about it, they spent about 18 years of their life with you.
Right.
So a lot of the habits that you're observing, guess who they learned that stuff from? They learned it from you
Yeah.
know? But I think it's just a great opportunity for the parent, obviously, to still guide the child a little bit, because you don't want them to be under your roof forever, you know?
That is absolutely true. What is maybe a downside of that?
So the downside, first of all, you have to talk about what you're going to do about food. You're going to also talk about what you have to do about noise. And then what about visitation? Because when you're out on your own, sometimes you might have that overnight visitor, which might not go over so well in your parents' home, right? But then you also need to discuss, what are we going to do so far as some of that unsolicited advice that the parent might try to give the child. We all know that unsolicited advice is not very welcome, right? But then last but not least, you also have to talk about like expectations. You know, is your child expecting you to spend family time with them and things of that nature? And maybe you've gotten to a point in your life where you're kind of doing your own thing, and maybe your child is cramping your style just a little bit.
Absolutely, I can see that.
Possible for sure. Well, so what about? I mean, obviously, with different relationships, you want to lay the ground rules. What are your thoughts about maybe even putting these things in writing?
You know, one of my friends in the legal field, he always says, since we agree, why not put it in writing, right? Because I don't see anything wrong with documenting your mutual expectations. So as an example, let's say you tell your child, you can come home for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. You need to have that specific term in place so that the child doesn't have false expectations. Also, while they're at home, should they be applying for X number of jobs per day or something like that?
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with giving someone a target so that you will know when you get your life back and get them out of your house.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, when a child comes back home, usually there's a greater financial burden on the parent. How can you get into that with the child?
So, of course, when you think about one extra person, or maybe you have your child and their children coming back in, grocery bill might go up, electricity bill might go up, water bill might go up, things of that nature. So I don't see anything wrong with sitting that child down and saying, you know, just by you coming home, look at how it has impacted my finances. So be a little bit mindful of your consumption of all of these resources. But the cool part is when that child comes back, maybe they have some skills that you can tap into, like running errands, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, or if they're like a Mr. or Miss Fix-It, maybe they can do a little bit of handyman or handywoman work around the house as well.
What I'm hearing is have that big conversation before they move in.
Definitely, definitely. You definitely want to have an understanding of what's really going on in this household, because you don't want like someone may view it as a roommate situation, but maybe the parent is like, well, this is my baby, and I just want to love them up as much as possible. That's not going to fly long term.
Exactly. You have to have some ground rules.
Yeah, almost more of like a tenant relationship in a way, if you can outline that.
Exactly.
So, well, these are some great tips. I know when it comes to the boomerang, I'm still winding up. Mine are young. I haven't released yet, but I'm going to keep all this in mind. If people want to learn more about you and also your business, how can they do that?
They can visit www.gametimebudgeting.com or give us a call at the office at 513-813-3275.
Yeah, I tell you, mine are on their own, and hopefully they stay that way.
Definitely.
Right. Okay. No offense, kids. Mom loves you.
Love you.
Just, yeah.
But be independent. That's
Right.
what I want.
Al, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.